What's that say?
Sam.
I am Sam.
Yum. Dum.
I am Sam.
Sam I am.
Sam I am.
Gonna yum. Sam I am. Not Sam I am.
I do not like that.
Sam I
I
am.
will not eat them in a
What
house. I will not eat them with a...
house?
I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like them, Sam I am. Sam, if you will let me be, I will try them. You will see.
Water.
They're in the water, yeah. And in the dark, and on a...
Tree.
And in a car, and in a...
Tree.
They are so good, so good. You see? I will eat them
Anywhere.
anywhere. I do so like green eggs and ham. Thank you, thank you.
Sam I am.
It's Amanda. I told you I would give you a week 30 update right after the 29-week update, and here I am getting all caught up this week with videos after being sick last week. So yeah, speaking of being sick, I am finally feeling pretty much back to normal now, thank God. I did have, you know, the time that I filmed last week's vlog, I was feeling mostly better, but then I ended up still having like some lingering intestinal issues, if you know what I mean. Had a bit of the runs for a couple days afterwards, and my appetite was definitely not up to snuff. I was eating again, which was good, but I had to eat just little bits of simple things and eat slowly, and then I would still feel a little queasy afterwards, have to lie down, I'd be okay, you know, everything would settle okay, but appetite was definitely off. I just wasn't that hungry. Because of that, as of today, I stepped on the scale and I have lost 4 pounds. And so I actually was a little bit concerned when I saw that. Like under normal circumstances, I'd be like, hey, great, lost 4 pounds. But being pregnant, it's a little bit more concerning. So that means overall, I haven't gained anything in 3 weeks. So, and you know, this is supposed to be the 3rd trimester when you are actually gaining a pound a week and whatnot. So, you know, I was a little concerned about that, but, you know, like I talked about last time, because I have been eating really healthy all the way along and have, you know, had a significant weight gain up to this point, like I do think that I have the reserves. I think that baby girl is okay, and that I had that margin to lose that. Even though it's not ideal, I think that everything's going to be okay. So that means that I have gained a total of 32 pounds. So that actually, you know, compared to where I was in my last pregnancy, I looked back at my journal from my pregnancy with Alex, and at 30 weeks with him, I had gained 39, almost, it was like 39 and a half, so almost 40 pounds by 30 weeks when I was pregnant last time. So that means at this point I'm doing better, I guess. So thanks to the stomach bug, I guess. Not that it's a great way to go, but you know, hey, it is what it is, silver lining. So I'm actually feeling pretty good about where my weight gain is right now. Being 32 pounds at 30 weeks, not too bad for me. So as of today, my appetite is definitely back to normal. I was actually hungry again today. You know, before I didn't have much of an appetite, but I was, you know, forcing myself to eat, but now, like today, I had the hunger come back. So that's a really good sign. So I had my 3 square meals today and even a snack or 2. So that's a really good sign. And I was able to eat some things that I wasn't able to eat when I was really feeling sick. Like I couldn't touch vegetables when I was feeling sick. I tried eating some broccoli when my digestion was still off, and that did not go over so well. But like today, I had like salmon and some kale salad when I was over at my parents' house, and I feel just fine now. So I'm like, thank God that's over. So, and I can get back to my, hopefully a healthy weight gain again at this point. So speaking of digestive related things, I have definitely this week, and even before I was sick a little bit, this started happening, but I've really started getting the reflux. I really haven't had it's not even really like a heartburn problem. It's not like the burning sensation. I had that a little bit more with my last pregnancy, and it's not that. It's more like TMI is gross, I'm sorry, but just like that feeling like things are like coming up into your throat and you have to like swallow it back down. I know, it's so gross. But I feel like I'm doing that all the time. It's like what Bill calls hiccups. I'm like, constantly doing that throughout the day, especially after I eat. And so, yeah, so definitely that smooth muscle in my esophagus is relaxed with everything else in my body right now. I have also been continuing to have the Braxton Hicks contractions. I get several of them throughout the day. Definitely get that tightening. My belly gets all hard, and it just kind of feels tight in there. This week I felt baby girl have the hiccups for the first time. It was really cool. Alex was a big hiccuper in utero, and he still is now. It's genetic, I swear. Like, my mom hiccups a lot, I hiccup a lot, and I guess I passed the hiccuping gene on to my son. And apparently I have to my daughter as well, because I felt her have the hiccups the other day, and it's like the cutest thing. Like, seriously, it's the cutest thing, because you can just like feel how small she is in there, and when you feel like her whole body move, and it makes your belly just kind of go doo, doo, doo. And it's so cute. I expect that as I carry on through the third trimester, I will be feeling her do that more. As for her position, I have been a little concerned this week that she is breech. I feel like I have a pretty good sense of her position based on where I feel her kicks and her movements. Usually I can feel like where the big, hard, more forceful kicks are, I believe are where her knees and her feet are. And I have been feeling them down low on my, lower left side quite a bit the last several weeks, actually. And then I feel these little, like, doot, little taps up top, which I believe are her hands. Because I do have an anterior placenta, it's harder for me to tell just by feeling my belly where she is. When I was pregnant with Alex, it was very clear to me. I mean, I'm a massage therapist, so I'm definitely very in tune with what I'm feeling with my hands. I've been trained to feel, the differences between individual muscles and that kind of thing. So I feel like I can tell, with my hands, like what's going on in my belly. And when I was pregnant with Alex, I could tell that he was head down, and that I could feel his, his whole back all the way down my right side, and I could feel his little butt up top, and I would get kicks in my ribs. So it was very clear that he was head down and that he was kicking me in the ribs, and I would feel little hand movements down low. But it's the opposite for what I'm feeling with baby girl right now. But I also can't, because of the anterior placenta, I can't feel where her head and her butt and back are, those little harder spots, which could also possibly mean that she's sunny side up, that her back is against my back too. That's another possibility. But anyway, I'm having a midwife appointment and an ultrasound this week. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I'll get a definitive answer of her positioning at that point. But if she is breech, there is, I'm 30 weeks, there is still definitely time for her to turn. But it still does make me a little bit nervous. The standard protocol these days is if you have a breech baby, then that means C-section, right? It's kind of interesting. I've done some more reading on it, and it used to be the standard, like being, breech births didn't used to be, considered to be such a huge risk. I mean, that it was acknowledged that it was riskier just because of the physics of it. When you have a baby's butt coming out first and then you have the head coming out last, there's the potential for, if you pull the baby while the head is still in the pelvis, you can torque the neck and, like cause spinal cord injury, that kind of thing, if it's not done by a skilled doctor or midwife. And, that is the biggest risk of delivering vaginally breech. But I really did some research and found out that, you know, that's really been the swing the last decade or so, is like breech means C-section. But now, just in the last couple years, it's starting to swing back a little bit the other way, just starting to. And they're realizing that, you know, in most of those cases, you know, a baby could have been delivered perfectly safely vaginally with a skilled doctor. But now the thing is, they're just not teaching in med school, you know, how to deliver babies breech anymore. It's just a dying skill, unfortunately. Anyway, so it's just something I'm contemplating. Hopefully it won't even be an issue. Hopefully she'll turn and it won't even be an issue, you know, but I just want to be prepared that if she, you know, if I'm right that she's breech and if she happens to stay that way, I just want to know what my options are. I just don't want to feel like I have to be forced into a C-section, you know. It also depends on the type of breech the baby is. There are like a few different types. It's like complete breech is when the baby is in the complete fetal position, their legs are folded up and their butt is down at the bottom. Frank breech is when their legs are, you know, like their knees are actually straight and their feet are like all the way up by their head. Their legs are up, and their butt is down. And then there's like foot long breech when like one foot is hanging out and the other one is up. And so I guess with a complete breech and with a frank breech, those are the optimal positions for a vaginal breech birth. And if it's a foot long, that's actually, you know, medically a lot riskier, because you either need a butt or a head to help dilate the cervix and push, you know, make the way for the rest of the body is basically why. I do understand that it is, you know, there is a little bit more risk involved with doing a vaginal breech birth, but I did find out that at our local university hospital, there are a couple of OBs there that are willing to vaginally deliver twins and breech, or at least attempt it. And so that's something I'm, you know, just looking into to have as a plan B. I'll more seriously consider it after I have confirmed her position this week. But anyway, it's just something that I've been contemplating a lot, and just, you know, I want to be mentally prepared if that's something that I need to face. Hopefully it won't be an issue, but just want to be prepared. But that said, just since this morning, actually, I feel like she has changed position now, and I'm not sure if she has flipped or what, but I was feeling all the movements on my left side, but now it seems like she's either like rotated or she's flipped, because now I'm feeling all the movements on the right side, kind of like more in the middle and on the right side. So I think that she has changed positions, but it's not, she hasn't been moving enough for it to be obvious to me what that new position is yet, because she hasn't done any like really hard kicks yet to let me know, oh, that's where her feet are, that's where her knees are. So, but anyway, we'll find out this week for sure. So yeah, so like I mentioned, this coming Wednesday, I have my midwife appointment. I was supposed to have it last week, but that's when I came down with stomach flu, and so I had to reschedule that. So I'm doing that this week. I was supposed to have my glucose test last week too, and obviously since I was sick, that didn't happen either. So here I am, like getting into the 30th week, and I still haven't done my glucose test, and I'm still just so wary about it. Like, I just cannot handle sugar very well. You know, when I was sick, I actually tried drinking like a natural ginger ale, like one of those naturally, I don't know if it was organic or not, but it's basically pure ginger that's, you know, been turned into a natural soda, and they sweeten it with pure cane sugar. And the ginger really helped my stomach feel better, but I had that sugar reaction that I've mentioned before, where I really feel like it's almost an allergic reaction, you know. And that was even just from having a couple of these natural ginger ales. And so I was like, oh my God. And, you know, I had that on an empty stomach, obviously, because I was sick then. And I was like, this is what it's going to be like to have a glucose test, like pump my body full of sugar on an empty stomach. And my body does not do well with it. At my appointment on Wednesday, I'm really going to talk to the midwife about it and say, can we come up with another option? Like, is it possible for me to just like eat a pancake breakfast with maple syrup or something? You know, something that's sugary like that, instead of, you know, doing this empty stomach glucose drink thing. And anyway, I know it's not as exact that way, but anyway, we'll see. It's probably fine. Like, I'm really not that concerned about having gestational diabetes as it is, because I eat so little refined grains and so little refined sugar that I would honestly be really surprised if I had it. Granted, there were exceptions over the holidays. I did eat some of that stuff. But overall, my diet is, you know, pretty free of those foods, so I would be pretty surprised if it was an issue anyway. And I also mentioned that I'm going to have an ultrasound this Friday, and it's likely to be my last ultrasound. We may end up getting a real late one as well, but this one is the last one that they wanted me to schedule for my hematoma. They just wanted to check on it one more time at 30 weeks. You know, I had mentioned when I went in at, was it 24 weeks? I think it was around there. They saw that it basically had like shriveled up and like moved into the back of my uterus away from causing any problems or anything like that. So that was really good news. And you know, I don't know if it's shrunk anymore or what. I haven't felt any of the symptoms from it that I had felt earlier in the pregnancy, like none of the cramping or the, you know, the discomfort that was being caused by it before. So that's a really good sign. I'm assuming that it's either, you know, still just out of the way and shriveled or gone at this point. So, but they will search around with the ultrasound and see. And, you know, like I said, I'm also looking forward to them just, you know, telling us what position baby girl is in right now, so I can, you know, mentally prepare for that. And if she is breech, also, that would get, you know, at 30 weeks, that would give me a lot of time to start doing some of the, you know, have you guys heard of Spinning Babies? It's like this website that has a lot of information about how to turn breech babies, basically. So, you know, I'd want to do like some of those exercises, like do some chiropractic, some of those natural things that you can do to help baby turn, and get her to do that, you know, while it's still early enough. So anyway, but we'll see on the ultrasound. And I'm also excited to just see her at 30 weeks. You know, the latest ultrasound I had with Alex was the 20-week anatomy scan, and that was it. I didn't see him again until birth. And so I'm really excited to see what she looks like at such a, you know, later third trimester phase on the ultrasound. The place where I go, they tend to, you know, do a minute or two of the 3D ultrasound as well. They've done that the last 2 times I went in unexpectedly, so I'm hoping they do that again. Hopefully we'll see a little more like detail on her face, that kind of thing. That would be really cool. With next week's update, I will give you a report back on all of those things. So the other little trivial thing I was going to mention is this week I'm going to try to start drinking pregnancy tea. It's like, I think it's like the traditional medicinals brand. It has the red raspberry leaf in it, which helps begin to tone your uterus and prepare it for birth. I know there are a lot of people who drink it all the way through pregnancy. In fact, I did with my last pregnancy, but I have actually been hesitant to do so with this pregnancy, just with all of the hematoma complications. I didn't want to do anything that would, you know, interfere with what was going on with that. So I decided now that I am like getting well into my 3rd trimester, I think it's safe for me to start doing that now. So I'm going to start with doing a couple weeks of drinking the pregnancy tea, which has a lower level of the raspberry leaf tea. And then once I get through that box, then I'll start drinking the straight up red raspberry leaf tea after that. So anyway, so the last thing that I wanted to mention, just like a little life update, is I know I mentioned last week that Bill and I were going to have our Babymoon staycation this weekend, and we had that, and oh, it was so wonderful. It was just so nice to stay home. And, you know, we had taken Alex to my parents' place and he stayed with them for the whole weekend. So Bill and I had the house to ourselves for our little staycation. It was just the most rejuvenating weekend ever. Bill and I were saying we really need to make a point to do this, like regardless of whether we have a getaway somewhere or whether we stay home, you know, where we just have the kids stay with the grandparents for a weekend twice a year. Because it is just so good for our mental health, it's good for our marriage. The first night we slept 10 hours straight. Oh my God, like I seriously don't, I mean, I did get up to pee, but went straight back to sleep each time. But honestly, I think the last time that I slept that long straight was before Alex was born. Seriously. Yeah, because that is a rare occurrence, sleeping that much, and it felt so good. You have no idea. Or maybe you do have an idea. It was wonderful, and just having the ability to sleep in, honestly, that is the thing I miss about my pre-child life the most, is sleeping in. Oh, that is one of my favorite things to do in the whole world, is sleeping in, and it basically just doesn't happen anymore now that we have kids. So, I mean, you know, Bill and I will, you know, take turns on weekends sometimes. Often I'll get up with Alex, let Bill sleep in, and then once Bill gets up, he'll tend to Alex and I'll go back to sleep for a few hours, which is great. Like, that's an awesome alternative, and that's, you know, most of the time that's, you know, what we do, and it works really well. But it's still broken sleep. It's not like that solid chunk of really long good night sleep, you know what I mean? And so, oh, it just felt so good. And then we got the second night, got straight 8 hours of sleep, and oh, I just feel so rejuvenated. It's amazing. And, you know, I just spent the whole weekend like not rushing, you know? Like just lingering on everything, and it was just so nice because to like not be tied down to a toddler schedule for just a couple days, you know, just with the sleeping in, just like, oh, we can eat when we want, can sleep when we want, you know, just linger. I took a 2-hour long bath and it was amazing. And like I shaved my legs. Like I honestly, TMI maybe, but I haven't shaved my legs in a couple months because you know, when I'm in the shower now, we have, you know, a small shower stall in our bathroom, and like my belly is so big now that I can't bend over to shave my legs easily, and there's nothing to like prop my leg up on, you know, to reach, and so I just haven't done it. And so and also, I've been working on a project of, you know, continuing to unpack our house since we moved in June. You know, we've had boxes everywhere, and we actually still had these boxes of bathroom stuff in our bathtub, so I hadn't been able to use our bathtub. But this last week, that was a nesting project that I finished. I completely finished unpacking those boxes and organizing our bathroom. I got like one of those over toilet things with baskets to organize things, and oh, it felt great. And so that meant that also the bathtub was free, and I could finally have a good soak with some, you know, bath salts, and oh, it was so nice. And I was able to shave my legs. Isn't that wonderful? And today we decided to go out and just have lunch. You know, we wanted to, you know, Bill's birthday is actually tomorrow, so I wanted to take him out to just have one meal. Didn't care if it was breakfast, lunch, dinner. We decided to make it lunch. We went to an Italian restaurant in the town that we live in now that we hadn't checked out before, and we got a pizza to split. You know, it was like a fancier pizza, and so so that was nice. So we did have one little date on our Babymoon too. But also, this Babymoon has been so productive. Bill has almost finished painting Alex's new big boy room. And I showed you the paint chips from last time, and it's great. He's got all of the trim painted now. He's got the ceiling painted, and the big blue accent wall is now painted. He just has to do the other walls, the beige color that we chose, and then he'll be done. It feels so good to have that moving forward. I think that it's going to be done being painted this week, and then we're going to move Alex into that room once it's all dried and everything. We're going to move his crib in there. We debated on whether we wanted to get a toddler bed for him, like his crib transfers into a toddler bed. We debated on whether we wanted to do that yet, but we decided, we're not quite ready for that. we like having him contained still. And he's, you know, my rule of thumb is once the kid is big enough to climb out on their own, then they're ready for a toddler bed, but he's nowhere near that yet. So I'm like, we're still content with him being contained in the crib. So that's where he's gonna stay. We actually got a second crib for baby girl. And once we're done getting his room set up, then we're actually gonna paint his old room to be her nursery. Anyway, so I will be doing videos about those things. I've actually been making a time-lapse video of Bill painting that room, and I will show that to you once that's all done, and I will probably do a little tour of his big boy room and of her nursery once that's all together and ready. So feels so good that that's in the works now, and this weekend was so productive for that. And while Bill was painting, I had motivation to clean my house. What? Where did that come from? Like, I realized that, like, I used to get that itch to clean my house a lot before I had kids, and I don't get that itch as much anymore now that I have kids. I think it's just because I'm so tired all the time, constantly distracted. I'm the kind of person where I like to, when I get into a project, I get in the groove and I just need like several hour chunk to just get something done, you know? But that doesn't happen being a parent of a toddler. So I think that's why I just don't get that urge as much anymore. But now that I was well rested, and B, I was free from a toddler schedule this weekend, I had the itch to clean. And so I cleaned all the Christmas stuff up. I put all the Christmas stuff away, vacuumed up the needles from the tree, and I basically organized the entire living room, which is where all of Alex's toys are. You know, all of his new Christmas toys. I like rotated some toys out, you know, toys that he doesn't play with anymore, I took out. Organized the shelves, and it is like immaculate. And like, I can't even remember the last time my living room was this clean. It's amazing. And for a day we have enjoyed it too. But now that Alex is home, that will change once he wakes up in the morning. Anyway, it just really felt good to get all of that organized and clean. I got a bee in my bonnet now, and so I actually started tackling the kitchen as well. So, you know, tackling pile of dishes and, like, you know, sanitizing counters, and then I'm going to be moving on to cleaning all the bathrooms. Like, I guess this is nesting. I really am glad that I had this Babymoon weekend to like really get a good start on that. It just felt so good to clean and just have the time to do it, you know. So it's been a wonderful weekend, even though I wasn't feeling completely up to snuff the first couple days of our Babymoon. Like, it's still just been the most rejuvenating time ever. This is actually something that like really resonates with me from the like French way of parenting. I don't know if you guys have read the book Bringing Up Bébé, but that is like basically my favorite parenting book. I guess in France, like, this is pretty common for parents to every once in a while, you know, send the kids to the grandparents and go have a getaway and just have time together as a couple. And because they know how rejuvenating that is for the whole family, and you know, at the end of that, you're just like ready to be a parent again. And I so feel that way too. I feel so rejuvenated. I'm like, yes, I am ready to tackle this mothering thing again. and I was so happy to see Alex again when I went to pick him up. We had a happy reuniting. Anyway, good thing all around. Bill and I are thinking we are going to make a point to do a getaway or a staycation, sans kids, twice a year, once in the winter, once in the summer. We're going to try and make that a ritual every year because it's really good for everyone. So that's it for week 30, you guys. Let me show you my belly. All right, here is the week 30 belly. Getting so big now. Like I said in the last video, I am waddling pregnant mama. And here's the front. And the other side. So that's it for this week, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Also stay tuned this week. I am going to do a pregnancy tag video. So all of you other pregnant YouTube mamas, be keeping your eyes peeled for that because I just might tag you. So be looking forward to that. And also, now that we're in the new year and past all the Christmas stuff, I am hoping to finally get back to resuming the other series that I was doing on my retrospective series on my pregnancy with Alex and his first 2 years, and my series on food. So stay tuned for that upcoming in the next couple months as well. That's it. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to click that thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe with that red button down below if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.